Thank you, sir.
Where are have they gone? They are changing. Okay, changing. Oh, please be seated. I wanted to be looking at them. Huh? Are you sure, man? Well, yeah. Oh, wow. But I think you were the new one. Yes. My apologies that I had to drag you out. I just wanted to make a few minutes of remark of appreciation. 2-3 quick things to say. First is to welcome all of you. Those from Abuja, those from Lagos, those from all over Nigeria, all over Lagos. All over Nigeria, and most importantly, the special contingent from the one and the only University of Nigeria. Okay? It's quite very emotional for me. So there are many dimensions. I want to welcome all of you to the lighthouse. That's a banquet hall. And for those of you who have come here for the first time, the entire premises on the 28-hectare piece of property about some 57 structures. And you are in one of them. And for 34 years, Anambra State did not have a government house or a governor's lodge. And we decided when we came in to break the 34-year-old jinx. Governor used to places Amoabi, another community from Amia. When Anambra was created, a new one was created in 1991. They decided let's take that makeshift place as a temporary place. And the government house was the old, the yard used by the construction company that built the New Orleans Road in the early 80s. The prefabricated buildings there. That's where successive governments got stuck. And when I came, said if not now, when? If not our school. And that change was broken. And we are so, you're welcome if this is your first time here. And to welcome all of you to this night that brought a sense of nostalgia, memories back. I don't know when the last time I watched live performance of this nature. Combination of dance, drama, storytelling, and all of those all woven into one. And I just kept wishing that it could continue. It's short, impactful, and the message delivered. You are the best, of course. And to the Igbo integration movement, we can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough. I heard of you very recently, and when this was brought to my notice about this initiative and you wanted to be honest with you, I have forgotten about it. I just came back from retreat with my new team. It's just when I saw your memo here, being the brochure here, that I remembered, that's tomorrow. And we'll see. But surely, if I'm unable to stop by, you'll have a delegation to join you tomorrow. I want to commend you and the star-studded team that you have. I am convinced that that important conversation will begin. On the 29th of September 2016, I was the book reviewer of a book written by Julio Fadile. And the title is The Politics of Biafra and the Future of Nigeria. The Politics of Biafra and the Future of Nigeria. And in that book, as at that time, I've never met Nnamdi Kanu. Actually, until I got the book when he was incarcerated, I never even heard about him. It's not interested in any Biafra thing. I've never listened to it for once. But I've known about the Masson and I saw Wazurike. We followed those debates. At some point, I even engaged him in a debate at Ojuku's house. And that was the time they used to block the head bridge. Every time they wanted to do their own version of sit-at-home, they would block audition and so on. And I did explain to him. And he got it, and he kept quoting me subsequently. When I said to him, you know, the GDP of Nigeria, if you decompose it, and I did that in the 90s, you decompose the GDP of Nigeria by regions, by states that aggregated back the Southeast. As at that time, 1999, the economy of the Southeast put together amounted to 7.9% of Nigeria's GDP. And I told him, if you block the Niger Delta, the source of oil, Nigeria will notice. If you brought down Lagos, Nigeria will notice. If you close down Abuja, Nigeria will notice. If the entire Southeast were to fall under a volcanic eruption tomorrow, then Nigeria will only notice it as a humanitarian disaster. That will not matter. It's just 8%. People will just hear it all, and they'll continue with it. So anyhow, anytime you did that, you were harming the same people you were seeking to protect. You were seeking to advance their cause. He was subsequently quoting me with those numbers. I was governor of Central Bank then. And all this agitation stuff, quite frankly, I met it when I reviewed the book. I did call for a debate that the elite, the Igbo elite, was in denial. A lot of people in the closet were Nigeria by the day and Biafra by the night. And several paradoxes, the Igbo paradoxes. Tonight is not the day, but I am very, very excited that you guys have begun this conversation. Then, in 2016, I called for the debate to begin. I think it was Socrates that said an unexamined life is not worth it. This is one issue that we need to interrogate very rigorously. Because we are very brilliant people. Very brilliant people. We flourished in the First Republic, in the Second Republic, we're very pragmatic, and so on and so forth. And we made the best that we could out of Nigeria. But I think part of that interrogation will be very deep, and I hope that that debate will be empirical. People will come with numbers, people will come with statistics, and so on and so forth. For me, I think when that debate comes on that day, wherever it comes, I will be able to make my own case. As a full-blooded Igbo man, my generations up to 11 generations that we can trace, Efume Fueba, and Efume Upper Igbo, Ghana Mreba, Ifule Fueba. So nobody has a better claim. And I have my own view and conviction. Who suffered during the Civil War was a little kid. My mother died there. My father went to war, carried the bullet inside of him. Was operated 11 years after the Civil War, 1981, when the last bullet was removed. Even my elder brother, at 16, joined the army then, was in the boys' company. I saw it firsthand. As a little kid then, I became the man of the family. You know, with my grandmother and the others who were running. I saw it firsthand. So when I hear people now talking about carrying arms and stuff, I wish, but that's one other day. But the good thing is that that conversation is beginning. Last month, I was at UNM and I challenged. I was quite surprised because Biafra was technically declared at the Princess Alexandria Auditorium at the University of Nigeria. And I expressed surprise, sure, that all through these decades of this, if you like, confusion, apparent confusion, that University of Nigeria has not led that debate. And so I must commend it in a very special way. I think maybe Department of, is that? Theater and Film Studies. You are leading the way. And through the instrumentality and I think support and financing of the Igbo integration movement. You did hint about your sponsors, Ohaneze Igbo, what is the United Nigeria Airlines, and the others who are able to put together some money. I'm sure amongst us, funding of this. So I would appreciate all those who have put in the resources, intellectual, financial, and so on and so forth, to promote this, to produce this. Because that conversation must begin in a very structured manner. We need to begin to have that conversation. We've tried it. We've also, for 5 years, we had one deficit at home with the debilitating consequences. The effects of this on the economy of the Southeast might take a generation to repair. Businesses left, human talents on the run, and so on. Confidence. There is a Chinese proverb that confidence grows at the speed of a coconut tree. You know the way coconut tree grows? That's the way confidence. You know, trust grows at the speed, but it falls at the speed of a coconut itself. And when it falls, it takes the cross again to grow back. That will tell you what time it will take to fully restore back confidence in our society. It's quite deep, but some of us apply for this job because we believe that we can turn this thing around. Our people are resilient. If we survive the war, and 9 years after the Civil War, we had the Vice President of Nigeria, we had the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and so on and so forth. But if you actually think about it, we fought the Civil War. The people that fought the Civil War were not just Southeast. It was Eastern region that declared the Civil War. But 9 years after the Civil War, Someone from the Eastern region, former Eastern region, was Vice President, was Senate President, Joseph Wires, and was Speaker of the House of Representatives. 9 years after the Civil War. Think about it and tell me any parallel in history. But that's the day of that conversation and the discussion. I'm glad you are beginning. For me, I think in the Bible it said, as for one, I get I've started mine in writing publicly without apologies. Even in my first inaugural speech on the 17th of March, 2022, I started it in writing in my speech. I'm a Pan-Africanist, I'm a Pan-Nigerian, who is also a full-blooded woman. I did state there that I believe that the Igbo, I said the way putting myself, I was the chairman of Ohanense Planning and Strategy Committee when the Northern Youth served us with notice. And we had an estimate that there were about 11.6 million people in northern Nigeria then, and about 7 million in Lagos. And I did agree in my speech there. And this I believe that I'm prepared to, make that presentation. I've been arguing this for decades. That Ndi Igbo need Nigeria. Nigeria needs Ndi Igbo. Ndi Igbo needs Africa. Africa needs Ndi Igbo. Ndi Igbo needs the world, and the world needs us. And that we prosper, we are in everybody's village. And our prosperity can only be accelerated by learning to optimize opportunistically, take advantage of our membership of a wider space. But that's for another way. The economic argument, the social argument, the political arguments, and so on and so forth. But I wish you guys the very best of luck when you interrogate this. But even when I have called, occasionally I have called for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. When I did make the call, I was very clear as well, because I led the team when he was first incarcerated. I never met him. But I led the team that went to Kuje prison with Pat Otomi and several others. And you are sincerely, Prof. Yes, well, we led the team, went there. We had a conversation. Some even suggested to him, why don't you float a political party? Go through the political process. You can't shoot your way to this one. We delivered that message. Very clear. And when we came out, we addressed a press conference at Chelsea Hotel to advance our case. So, but when he came out, he actually sought to see me, to visit me. I was in company that he called to visit me to express gratitude. No. We did it not out of any personal favor. And a major kernel, the argument, was on the rule of law. That law courts had pronounced that he should be free and they still held him. And so we had issue with that. So we went. And subsequently, these other bits began to come. I had kept insisting whenever I would call for his release. I said, I wanted him to come and let us sit around the table and interrogate this matter. You present your own argument and listen to our own counter. Because we're also entitled to our own view. And I think this presentation, debates about who we are as an Igbo. That's the beauty of our Republican nature. can't muzzle it through. So it's only one view. No, it won't work. It was tried during the Civil War. And that's part of why Biafra failed. It became a war within during the Civil War. Because dissent became treason. Even to say, "Oga, are we doing it right?" You were saboteur and you were dead. And before long, the center could no longer hold. An Igbo cannot govern an Igbo, can wield us by force. Our people have strong willpower. And I wish you guys the very best of luck. Let's have this conversation. I will very much wish someday, that Nnamdi Kanu and his own group. Because for me, I've never really grasped what the kernel of the argument is. I've never really. All I've had is, this kind of language that was said here about this and that was very good. I want to hear their argument. And so let them also hear our own argument. Why we are better off in a united and fairer Nigeria. Why we are better off in a united and fairer Africa. I am one of those still dreaming of the United States of Africa. It's still my dream. I'm an Nkrumahist in that nature. And so, I think it is important that that conversation begins. And so, I was quite excited to see that some people have even begun this. Very glad to see all of you. And I want to believe that as you continue this, as you push your own argument, please also be tolerant also to the counter narratives. That's the other way. I wish that any place that you have it, that it's structured in such a way that, how we used to debate in those days in secondary schools. There will be those on this side and the opposing side. I wish whatever that counter argument is, and at the end of the day, you see, we were presented with the two numbers here. And at the end, we were left to choose. Okay? I think even the people who were asking to choose, the moment they got shot, everybody. Then you know whether that is the one you choose or the other one, and so on. It's a deep, and that book by Judy Fodil is a book I recommend to a lot of people to read because it lays some context. And then today, each one of us, in every corner, every place, please, let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation. Let's continue to have it. It's, I think, Father Alama, I listened to your, some of your homilies, and somebody says it's the one that makes common sense. The Father, think of him as the Father with that makes, common sense. We need to interrogate some of these things. And because otherwise, the way we're going, blowing by the wind, the Igbo presidency. Okay? And they go by tribal president of Nigeria. We are due for that. Yes. But the paradox has to be addressed. You want to be president of a country. Do you believe in the country? Can you govern a place that you don't believe in? Yeah. So that's dual personality. We must address it forcefully. I say, people, where do we stand? You want Nigeria to trust you with power? When they are not, nobody is sure where you belong. How can you govern the people? How? And you want to step out, you want to govern Nigeria, and so on and so forth, and nobody knows where you are. And they want the rest to trust you. Will you trust the person? Anybody who wants to govern you, and you don't know whether he's going to break up the union or not? No. These are fundamental, deep questions we must confront as a people. You know, people like us, I'm not a politician. Maybe in my next word, I will learn the art of politicking or speaking four sides of the mouth. In this present one, I say it as it is. We must be clear where we stand. If we stand in the path of Nigeria, we must willingly get into it with our full hands, full legs, and bargain and argue and battle it there, and get our own fair share out of Nigeria. You can't have one leg here, and you are neither here nor there. You can't. We can't get it that way. But I'm sure that's part of your conversation. I don't envy you. Please keep on that. And what do you call yourself again? The Igbo integration movement. I'm more of one because this team must be growing as well. What if we did the matter? It's a think tank. Less is more. No, gradually. Open it, because you never can tell. There is this lady, Choma, that I watched a few this thing. I said, no, who did that? I go to someone. Yes. I said, where? Oh, really? Okay. Then another one, I saw him today. Ijele, yes. I saw him one day. Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. Man, I need one water. Man, I like one water. But it is, I must tell you, this night, I went back to school. And at some point, I cried. I'm telling you, tears rolled a few times. And when you guys were doing this, the dance, the drama, the storytelling, the weaving of this, I was trying to appreciate the depth of the art woven in this and the story that's been told. Quite nice. I've heard about Mafo region, but today I got the full story of how Mafo region and how, you know, when he spoke the way he did and the letter that Zeke wrote him, tears rolled down. I had to, you know, clean off. I'm sure all of us here today, I would have missed a lot if I missed this. We stumbled on this, but I can tell you, as we advance this, I will join, if I am unable to join you tomorrow, we will really have a great contingent to represent us. Any group that advances the conversation of the Igbo question in Nigeria will have our support. Any group that advances, we need to have a conversation. Conversation if I demand Igbo. When you be a you don't have to agree with me. But I must have my own side. So any group, for and against, once it is done in a civil manner, once there is no coercion, when we stood up and say, one day sit at home must end, it had to end. Can you build a prosperous of land? You lose 20% a year. It's madness. It's madness. So anybody, anywhere, they discuss the Igbo question, count me in. We'll support this one. don't know what it is. I think since you have sponsors and all of those, you don't need our support. When you have Professor Amadi and Sam Amadi and go there, what do you do? They will underwrite all of this. He said, but they don't know. No, they don't support.